sick, frustrated Raven playing back Danganronpa.
The door was locked.
So Hifume moved both
The
bodies,
repository door can only be locked from the inside.
which means Hifume locked it.
Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone
Yes.
was already inside.
And
Yes.
it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
How'd it feel?
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository.
Wait, so there's...
So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But
Oh shit.
that means he took part in the murders.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having
Makes
trouble,
sense, though.
Would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
I mean, yeah.
More?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed.
The
You
paper
know what
trail,
I'm
right?
talking about, right, Makoto?
Yep.
The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
Yep. It was the paper.
I got it!
It was the paper.
You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
And his pants.
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his
Yep.
pants?
Yep.
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now.
Forget about the pants. The pants are on the border.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
But it was a...
Name?
No, no, you idiot. You just said it wasn't the same. You idiots.
Besides Hiro.
Ah!
And that person could only have been...
No. Yes, his fans. I did not. No. That's not what I meant to say. That was not what I meant to say.
In other words, the killer and that person could only...
Yes, get the pants! It was the pants!
That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Yep.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right?
Yes.
Wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
Except no.
Just to be clear,
Yes.
TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
ugh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is to escape, but still, I can't let her get to me. Simple. He had the other piece in his hand. What? None of these are gonna give me the thing.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
Yeah.
The time doesn't matter!
Yes, it does.
The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Okay.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember
No.
what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6.
6 a.m., I believe.
Yes.
The time doesn't matter!
Yes, it does.
The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong!
Negatory, ma'am. Why is Genocide Joe taking the front
No.
in the case?
Absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at
Fight,
6
mate.
a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. You've already proven that using his wristwatch. But
Yes.
there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So,
Yep.
Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that
Yep.
should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that. No further objections!
I'm glad you've come to reason,
That
you
note is for
psychobabble.
Taka, just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Hifume snatched it from Taka.
No less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Was the piece in
I
Taka,
got it!
in Taka's hand.
When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits
Yep.
perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had
Boom.
the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get
Yep.
all that right?
That means
You
Hifumi
did.
knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Yep.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure.
Not only was he involved, he was the main act.
He was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
Sorry, no.
No. He's very
Found
dead.
him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
Yes.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever
That's what we have to
did
figure
is
out.
the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
Yep.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that
Yes.
time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body.
Yes.
In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
True.
Trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
That doesn't even make sense.
Who are you calling a walrus?
We all live in a yellow submarine.
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
What's up, hero?
What might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way
Yes.
Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right?
Yep.
So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after.
Right? I'm with him.
Yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it.
Hammer was washed.
The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments.
Yes.
The hammers were already laying around those other rooms.
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
They're not.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
Yes and no.
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
A hammer. I already know the truth. With the hammer. Hammer that was washed. The spotless hammer.
What was used to kill Hifumi?
Oh. I've been way too gung-ho. Isn't that,
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3?
Nope.
Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Nope.
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out
Nope.
murdergear.com/hammertime for more info.
One thing seems clear.
Murderguild.com.
The weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
Nope.
No, that's wrong.
Murderguild.com. Thank you for sponsoring this episode. Murderguild.com.
The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But seriously? A different weapon?
Yes.
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now,
Yep.
all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris.
Flex.
But for
I don't
some
want to flex on
reason,
you.
one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If
Yep.
the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off.
Yep.
I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I
Just
think whoever
like-
made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
Yep.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Yes.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Yes.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The
Then
way
how does
the
he end up dead?
graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did. We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first. But I'll have to make my argument.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming
Yes.
the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But it's not
Only
impossible.
really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act
See that up there?
can graduate and, assuming the rule holds true.
Because I
Only
need
really
In this case, however, there were two murders.
that.
Based on the rules, even if more than one person, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and assuming the rule holds true.
Because it's not impossible. There were two murderers. Two people to get out.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering.
At all.
Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Yes.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme.
You know, just
There's no point
exactly what it
in being
sounds
an
like.
accomplice if there's no benefit to you.
Yeah.
However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying
Yep.
that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
think that's what the true
Pretty
killer
cool.
told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only
Give the
looked
man a
like
prize.
one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind
You're a genius,
picked their
mate.
target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice.
Yep.
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
Yep.
That's just awful.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
They haven't made to convince us that two murders at the same time. The main character is this time. Kiriko must have known of that fact from the very beginning, which is why she told us not to look at the series of connected events, but as entirely separate events. She's amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this. I'm telling you, she's a detective.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and in the end murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. And I know it's
Here's my answer.
Celeste.
It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
Yes,
I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke?
not joking.
I wonder.
So what you are saying then is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
Yes, he was already under your
The
thumb.
idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him,
But then you get to kill him.
would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot!
I think your accent slips though.
Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
There's a lot of evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you.
Yep.
Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
The screaming.
Shoot!
What? Okay, fine. Whatever.
I got it!
You're the only two that encountered the suspicious
Behavior
individual.
they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Which is much easier to
Adults are
stage.
talking now.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
She's the master
Taking
liar.
Hifumi to the
Yes.
nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
Yep. Which threw us all in the opposite
Headed to the
direction.
second floor, specifically because of what she claimed to have seen.
Yep.
Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we
Yep.
all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was walking the stairs as he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Yep. Yep.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was
Yep.
precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Yep. Byakuya gotcha.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected.
He's enjoying this too much.
On top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
He got him pegged.
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead, Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
Yep.
I don't believe it. Everything.
She's the best gambler, man.
You were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each
Yep.
piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Oh, she's gonna play it straight to the end.
Deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
Wait, what?
I remember her saying that too.
Yeah, I don't get what's strange about it either.
And what's so strange about it?
Then pay
What?
attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the
Okay.
hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's
Oh.
comment doesn't make sense. It was completely
It doesn't.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
She knew that he was dead, even though no one mentioned.
Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
No one said that Taka was dead, but she knew.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Oh. It's the other way around. So strange goes to those guys.
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really enjoying the sight of us standing. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those.
No one said Taka died.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste?
How did you know?
More than one person had been killed. And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations.
Oh, she's gonna go full vampire princess on us.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the... Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
That's pretty easy.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So
I
let's
mean-
put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
You're struggling, Holmes.
You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
She's good.
Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
Yep.
There is no other explanation.
I don't know.
Shoot!
Oh shit. They're not dancing. Drinking?
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
There it is.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you
Yep.
saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Celeste, get pegged,
Shut
go.
your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Oh, look at that sass. Look at that sass. Then shut your mouth and let me do it. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous.
Okay.
As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
Nope. Okay.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry. You tried to make me look like the.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
They can't bend. Oh, thought I was able to pause it.
No.
And we'll go into that in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.